Good evening, viewers. We are at episode 59 of COVIDCast JA. Welcome. Can you imagine we're at episode 59? Our next episode will be episode 60. We're turning into big people. So tonight we continue our multi-part segment on real estate. And last week we got lots of questions about mortgages and about NHT. So we are continuing the conversation and we are reminding our guests, please, we have a weekly memo. It is very important that you ensure that you are part of our mailing list so that you get that memo. Email us at sme@psoj.org. sme@psoj.org. Now, what this means too is that if we are at episode 59, you've missed 58 episodes, and you may be wondering, how do you catch up? Don't worry about that. Catching up is quite easy because all our episodes are available on our YouTube channel. Also, we encourage you to visit smallbusinessportal.com, where you will not only find our previous episodes, but you will also be able to access previous memos. Now, what we do is weekly, we create written memos because, we all learn things in different ways. And sometimes we want a little piece of paper that we walk around with, or we want that reminder in words that we are able to reflect on. So visit smallbusinessportal.com. Go to our YouTube channel. Go and subscribe right now. And follow us on Instagram so that you can keep abreast of everything that's going on COVIDcast. We come to you weekly. And shortly, we're going to be looking at the reopening of the economy. And when we look at the reopening, our Prime Minister has just announced some loosening of some of our curfew hours, and events are now permitted within certain parameters. What does opening up of the economy mean? What does it mean now? Is there a repivot now that the economy is opening? So much to discuss. But right now we are talking about real estate investments. We're talking about opportunities and very, very importantly, mortgages and NHT benefits. Sandra Palmer, welcome. I see you. Lavish King Javon, good evening to you. Cassandra Reed, good evening. Please, some people that need to be listening to this episode. I beg you, send them a quick message right now. Tell them stop what they're doing and come and hear tonight live. Tonight we are going to be joined by Kamisha Samuel Smith from the National Housing Trust. We're also going to be joined by one of our partners, the JMMB Group, in the form of one Owen Ferguson. So we're going to be looking at mortgages from the NHT perspective, and then we're taking you on the mortgage journey from the financial institution perspective. So brace yourselves. Our guests have also provided a lot of information through some slides too, because we know that people want to take some picture of the slide and to make sure that them have the information. So please call up all your families, all of your friends, subscribe to us right now on YouTube. Welcome to all those who are joining us on Facebook. Randy Burgess, I see you. Kiffy Hamilton, I see you. Now, our first guest, Kamisha Samuel Smith, has been an employee of the National Housing Trust for more than 17 years. She has served in a number of roles, but currently she is a senior marketing and sales officer with portfolio responsibility for St. Catherine. She comes with a wealth of experience and knowledge of the NHT's product and service offerings. Her greatest delight is to assist contributors in achieving their home ownership goals, and she organizes and executes marketing and promotional activities to raise brand awareness and educate the public on the benefits to be derived by all NHT contributors. Kamisha holds a Bachelor of Business Administration from the Great University of Technology, Jamaica. I see our guests coming in. Wendell, I see you. Marlene, I see you. So good evening, Kamisha. Great to have you on the show.
Great to be here.
Now, Kamisha, we are talking today about some of our NHT benefits and the process of home ownership through our NHT benefits and accessing these benefits. And we're also going to be talking about the importance too of, as SMEs, ensuring that we are making those NHT contributions. So last week we had looked at some of the questions that our viewers had asked, and Kamisha has put together some nice little slides there that answer a lot of the questions. But since we have Kamisha here, beg you also put your questions and your comments in the comment section. So can we put up Kamisha's slide and just jump right into it? So Kamisha, what are some of the key qualifying requirements for an individual seeking to apply for an NHT benefit?
Okay, so for persons who wish to access a benefit from the National Housing Trust, you must be a contributor to the NHT for at least 1 year, and you must be between the ages of 18 and 70 years to access a benefit, and you must be earning at least the minimum wage, which is currently at $7,000 gross per week. So those are the minimum qualifying requirements to access a loan through the NHT.
Okay, so you must in fact be a current NHT contributor.
Yes.
Made at least 52, so at least 1 full year of contributions.
Yes.
Okay, so then for self-employed persons, we have to make sure that we're making those NHT returns.
And it's the same thing for the self-employed persons. You must be a contributor for at least a year. It's a little bit different though for the persons who are overseas voluntary contributors. For persons who are now a resident of another country, if you were a contributor before you migrated and you were for at least a year, then you would start contributing again and you'd become eligible for a benefit after 1 year. But what if you never contributed before you migrated? Then that wait period would be 2 years before you'd be able to access the benefit. And so the overseas voluntary contributors make their payments directly to the NHT, while the local self-employed person or small business owners would make their payments through the tax admin department. So it's a little bit different for the overseas voluntary contributors.
Okay. Now I see Gia Bryce. I was expecting this question. My mom is 64 years and has never benefited from the NHT while she was a contributor. Is it possible for her to now benefit at 64 years as a self-employed individual?
Yes, she can. Remember, we lend loans up to the age of 70 years. So yes, your mom at 64 can access the benefit. She would have up to the age 70 to repay that loan. So if she's not yet a contributor, she's not current with her payment, she can quickly do that and access that benefit as soon as possible.
Okay, thanks for that, Kamisha. So let's talk through these NHT benefits that I see up. Tell us about them.
Okay, so we have loans to build, buy, and repair. We have loans for homeowners and non-homeowners. So if you're not a homeowner and you're thinking about it, you're dreaming about that home that you really want to own, then you could access a benefit to purchase on the open market. Now, if you're going to purchase on the open market, you'll be able to access 6.5 million as an individual. And if you wish to co-apply with someone else, no, you can access 13 million. But what if you prefer to buy land and build your nice house, your own design flair? Then we would lend you 2.5 million to buy land and build. And again, if you're going to co-apply with someone else, the total benefit would be 5 million. And if you wish to buy one of our housing developments, NHT is always building and selling developments right across Jamaica. You can also access one of our scheme solutions, whether land, house, or townhouse, whatever it is, as long as, of course, you meet the minimum requirements. And this is something that I want to put out there for all the persons who are on this platform. If you want to buy land and benefit from economies of scale, build your own community with people who have the same values or are like-minded like yourself, then cluster housing facility is for you. This is where groups of persons come together and acquire land that is large enough to be subdivided into a minimum of 3 or a maximum of 9 lots. And the NH should assist you with the acquisition, the subdivision of the property, the splintering of the title, of course. And of course, you would need infrastructure, roads, sidewalks, electrical, and water distribution channels, the NHT can assist you with that. And for persons who wish to build, of course, you'd also be able to access 6.5 million to build on land that you own or land to which you have access to a registered title. And the persons who had purchased land, you can return for the construction funds to build your home. And for the homeowners, no, you want to improve, we have a home improvement loan of 2.5 million. And for those who are already borrowers and are looking for that second mortgage, no, you want to improve and upgrade your home, you can also access our 10 plus or 15 plus loans. What's the difference? If you are a private sector employee, then of course you have to wait 15 years after your first loan to access this benefit. But for public sector workers, the wait time to access that second loan is 10 years. And of course, the maximum is $2.5 million.
Okay. So because persons always ask the question, can I benefit from NHT a second time? You're able to benefit a second time for an improvement. 15
or
plus.
if you had sold the property and you wish to now purchase another property, you can use that money to help you with the purchase of your second home, because your first home doesn't have to be your only home, you know. You can always buy, you know, and build your real estate portfolio.
Okay, so that's interesting. You could actually use that additional, that 2.5 after, if you're in private sector, for example, after 15 plus years, you can get that access to 2.5 million that could potentially be used to purchase your second home.
Yes, but there are some conditions that apply because we don't hold two titles for you. It's only one title. But say you've sold your first house and you're about to upgrade, right? So you'd want that money now to assist you with the purchase of another property.
Okay. Jennifer says, I live in St. Anne and I applied for a house in Montego Bay. I was told I can't get it because I live in St. Anne, but all my children live in Mobay.
Okay, so that is relating to our scheme benefit. Now, when we do a scheme in a particular parish, usually the target market is a parish audience. So if a house is being sold in St. James, then it would be the first persons that are really chosen or selected are persons who live in St. James. All right. So when you live outside the parish, unless we open it to adjoining parishes, or we've exhausted, you know, the list of persons who would have applied, and we might have to, you know, go to different parishes, of course you can get it. But I would say still apply. You never know what happens, and you just might get a call to say, are you still interested in this scheme that you applied for, right? But it's usually for the parish audience.
Okay, and you see the questions, please. We have Kamisha here, you know, please use up our time with Kamisha well. Rajesh says, how would Rajesh find out about developments that are for persons who are about to qualify for an NHT loan? How do you find out what housing developments are available? Do we just go to your website?
Yes, www.nht.gov.jm, and we have a list of housing projects. Some of them are upcoming, and you just click on the parish that you're interested in, and you're going to see the developments that are taking place and are to come. So you can visit our website and get that information.
Okay, and Nadia asked about self-employed person. How long is it for them for a second loan? And the second loan would be the same provision as that 15 plus.
Same. There's nothing different. It would be the same, whether you're self-employed or employed.
All right. Alistair, you wanted to know, you say, how much can you obtain from NHT? Kamisha just told us that you can obtain up to 6.5 million.
6.5 million, and if you're co-applying with someone else, you can get an additional 6.5. Of course, it's subject to affordability.
Yes.
Of course, yes.
All right, can we look at the, I think you're going to tell us a little bit about some of the interest rates.
Okay, so our interest rates are like none other in the market. We start at 0% and it goes up to 4%. And so if you're earning the minimum wage up to $30,000 $2,099. You do not pay any interest on your loan, nothing at all, okay? There's a service charge that is applied, which is 2% or 5% of the amount that you're borrowing, but you will not be paying an interest on your loan. For persons earning above $30,000 per week to $42,099, then the interest rate applied to your loan is 2%. And for persons earning above $42,000 per week, will be repaying that loan at 4%. And even though the interest rates are so low, if you are a public sector employee, you get a further 1% discount in interest rate where applicable. And for persons over the age of 55 who have been contributing for at least 10 years, where applicable, you get a 2% discount in interest rate. And not only that, for persons with disabilities who are registered with the Council for Persons with Disabilities, you too get a 2% discount in interest rate. In fact, mortgagors who are living with relatives with disabilities also get that 2% discount in interest rate. So those are the interest rates that we offer to our contributors. Very low. I don't know if anybody else offer a no interest rate loan. I don't know. But those are what the NHE offers its contributors.
Okay. And let's talk about some of the NHT financed housing solutions. But before, while that slide comes up, I'm seeing the questions are coming in. We are going to make the slide fantastic slides that answer a lot of the Commissioner is that you're a current NHT contributor, whether in the capacity of employed or self-employed individual, and you're between the ages of 18 and 70 years old, and very importantly, you have made at least 52 weekly contributions, of which 13 must have been made in the immediate before the date of application. So I see a lot of questions asking about the qualifications for application, and someone asked that Kamisha answered earlier where NHT contributions were being made. You stop making the NHT contribution. To get back in line for qualification, you need to be making those contributions over 52 weeks, Kamisha.
That is for the overseas contributor, but for the person, say you were working and you were out of a job for a little while, and you're now working after 3 months, you again become qualified because you already have 52 weeks in the system. And for self-employed persons, where there's a break in contribution for whatever reason, then after making 2 on-time quarterly payments, you again become qualified because you'd have met the 52 weekly requirement. So it's different for different groups of persons, for self-employed, for overseas voluntary, and for the persons who are PAYE. But once you start again and you satisfy the minimum requirement, you're good. Once you have your 52 weeks.
Okay. So the NHT financed housing solutions, tell us a little about that.
So this is where the NHT is offering to its contributors housing solutions. And I must say that the demand for NHT housing is so high. And so there must be a way of selecting who gets the house or the lot, whatever it is. And so we have come up with a system that's very transparent and very equitable. What it is, it selects persons based on the number of points they would have accumulated over their work life. So for every 52 weeks that you are a contributor, you earn 20 points. Good? Mm-hmm. So if you're working for 1 year and contributing for 1 year, you have 20 points. The 2 years, 40 points. So when a scheme is advertised and we invite applications, we are going to look at the persons with the highest number of points, in addition to where that person lives or works in proximity to the scheme. And affordability does play a role as well. And we're looking at other things that can help you with selection. For example, you have a mommy or daddy or a legally adopted parent. Well, child is legally adopted, and that child wishes to increase the probability or increase the likelihood of being selected. You use your parents' points. They contribute for many years, never access the benefit. You can use their points to be selected. for a solution. And there are other enablers or ways that we can increase access to one of these houses. But basically, that's how you get selected for an NHT scheme solution, your points, where you live and work in proximity to the scheme. Very key and critical when you are applying for a scheme solution.
Okay, and I'm seeing a lot of questions, but in going through some of the questions, I know Kamisha is going to be dealing with some of these areas. So please stay tuned. Don't even turn away for a moment. Christina asked for a couple to acquire the full $13 million loan. Is it that, Kamisha, that both contributors would have had to qualify through making those 52-week contribution for it to trigger both of them being eligible for 6.5 million?
Definitely, and of course, earn the income that will allow them to afford the repayment on the loan that you're trying to access.
Okay.
Yes.
The use of the contribution refund. Tell us a little about that.
All right. So contribution refunds, your refunds are refunded 8 years after it is paid. Okay. However, we understand that one of the biggest obstacles to owning your home is not having the deposit that is required, especially when you're buying on the open market at 10% is required or sometimes more. And you find that you have issues in taking care of these housing related expenses, paying for your sale agreement, paying for your surveyor's report, your valuation report. And so what the NHT has done is allow persons to access those refunds that are not yet due for payment. So they are not ready. Okay, they're in your savings account. And so what we do, we advance this before they are ready for payment to assist you with these housing related expenses. So some people sometimes are so surprised. They call the branch and they want to know, how is my employer paying and how much would be there. And you find that they have even a nice, couple of $100,000 put it in, sitting in our account. And even if it's $50,000, we will advance it to you to assist you because you have a shortfall and you need it. So the contribution can be used for a number of housing related expenses. So call us at the branch and we'll tell you how much it is that you have in your savings account.
Okay. I note that Colette asked a question about home improvement loan. So we'll look at that a little later. Jennifer, you mentioned points earlier. So Jennifer does ask if your brother or sister can give points to help you or only your parents?
Okay. So when it comes to the NHT's housing solutions, ours developed schemes, only your parent. Okay, so the parent can assist the biological child or legally adopted child. But what if it's not scheme and you're buying a house or a lot on the open market and your cousin is willing to co-apply with you? That's different. Cousin now must be qualified, meeting all the requirements, and decides that I am giving up my sole NHT benefit to my very good cousin. I understand the legal implications of doing so. And once you are able to sign to that, fine, we'll process the loan and you're good.
Okay. And Randy asked, does taking my contribution refunds out, does that affect my ability to qualify for an NHT loan?
No, it does not. When the refund, it's not. when like in 2021, we're refunding up to 2013, right? And if you collect your 2013 refund and you see a house for sale tomorrow, doesn't stop you from getting your benefit at all.
So we're also going to look at home grants, which I think is the next slide.
Right, so the home grant is for the persons who have been contributing to the NHT for at least 7 years and your weekly gross income does not exceed $15,000. You may access up to $2.5 million in a grant. Of course, it's a grant. You do not repay this. The single applicant who qualifies for the grant will be able to access a maximum of $7 million inclusive of the grant to assist you with your home purchase. And if you are co-applying with someone else, The maximum that you can get is 9 million, which also includes the grant. And the grant can be used for any non-homeowners benefit, purchasing land, building on land you own, assisting you to purchase a house on the open market.
Someone asked earlier, are there any disqualifiers to receiving the home improvement loan? So they may have been talking about the home grant. Incorrect. Is it that the same qualifications that would give you the NHT loan, all of those same qualifications apply for the home grant?
Yes. And remember, the home grant is for first-time owners only. So if you're already a homeowner, you cannot get the grant, right?
Oh, so the home grant is different from the home improvement.
Definitely. Once you're already a homeowner, you will not be able to access the grant, only for persons, lower income earners, first-time homeowners that will be able to access the grant.
Yeah, because that's up to 15,000 weekly. So
right.
Suppose I saw a place, there's an NHT scheme in Montego Bay and I'm in St. Anne. Can I use, Norda would want to, can Norda use her father's points, his Montego Bay points, towards her St. Anne scheme?
No. No. The scheme in St. Anne, unless otherwise stated, is a person's, the scheme in Mobay is for persons who live in Mobay. Now, when we have a scheme, everybody applies. Doesn't matter where you live. We have that all the time. And what if we've exhausted the list of persons from Montego Bay who applied for one reason or the other, they are unable to get it? You might jump over into St. Anna, you might be contacted. However, your points is not allocated based on where you live. All right, so you can't use Daddy because he lives in Mobay and his points is St. James. No, your points is derived based on your weekly contribution, has nothing to do with where you live. Okay, so it depends. It's not an outright no because everybody can apply. You never know if a list is exhausted and you are contacted at a later date to say, hey, are you still interested? All right, but usually it is for the parish audience.
Okay, and can 4 persons join to access a loan? Is there a maximum number of persons who can join together?
Maximum of 2 persons can co-apply to access a benefit.
All right. Tell us a little bit about Parent Assist, because I see Parent Assist coming up in various versions.
All right, so there are 2 types of Parent Assist. I spoke to one already as it relates to scheme selection, where the parent just assign the points to the child. So the parent is not getting a loan, they're not getting a mortgage, you're just using your parents' points to increase the likelihood of being selected for the scheme. But with Parent Assist 2 now, this is when you are looking to purchase a house on the open market, and mommy or daddy is still a contributor, still meets all the qualifying requirements. They've been contributing for over 10 years. They are homeowners, but they've never accessed the NHT benefit. So mommy is a homeowner, but because she's going to co-apply with me, instead of only being able to access 2.5 million, we're going to allow mommy to access the 6.5 million so that I would be better able to afford the house of my choice. Okay. So that's the difference. So this is where the parent is a homeowner, but never access the benefit. So we are going to give that parent the non-homeowners loan to co-apply with the child. But the parent has to, of course, be earning an income, contributing, meeting all the requirements.
Okay. And before we move on, because of course, the schemes are getting a lot of questions because some people were not even aware of this. Is a deposit required for NHT schemes?
A deposit is not required. What is required is a closing cost. The fee is currently $3,500. However, if due to affordability issues, you have a shortfall, then you have to pay that shortfall. However, if you can afford the full cost of the solution, deposit is definitely not required.
Okay. And for the home grant, Anne asked, the part about the 7 million for that home grant. Just can you just clarify that for Anne so that she understands how to access that 7 million?
Okay, so Anne, you are going to be able to access 7 million as a single applicant. Now, because the home grant is for the persons whose incomes do not exceed $15,000 per week, you're at the lower income end. So already you have a difficulty affording, the full 6.5 million in some cases, depending on your age. And so when you access the grant of 2.5 million, the loan amount in addition to the grant cannot exceed 7 million. What if based on your income and you can access $5 million? Okay, then the grant, you'll only be getting 2 million from the grant because it cannot exceed 7 million. So it is where you fall short based on your affordability. The grant now will take care of that shortfall. Okay, so if it's 1 million that you are unable to afford because of income and age, then you might just need only 1 million from the grant.
Okay.
But the maximum grant available is 2.5 million, and the combined amount between the loan and the grant cannot exceed $7 million.
Okay. So, and there was a lot of interest early in cluster housing. Tell us a little bit more about cluster housing.
Okay, so the cluster.
I'm sorry, Kamisha. Someone asked an interesting question whether or not NHT gives loans for developments. Would a cluster housing be considered a development? Could you do a cluster housing and then access the benefit to sell those lots? So just so that we are looking at it also from the development standpoint.
Cluster housing is different from the development. We do interim financing, joint ventures. We do partnerships with developers to bring more housing to the market. We have a guaranteed purchase program where we buy houses from developers and they have a guaranteed market. But that's different from cluster.
Okay.
Cluster, that is why the number of lots in a cluster cannot exceed 9, because when it exceeds 9, it's a whole different ball game. You're looking at a development and the requirements from the parish council, ODP, and all the other agencies become a little bit more complicated. This is just where a group of persons now identify this nice land that's too big for one person. It's too expensive for one person to buy. And so as a group, we come and we buy this property and we get our attorney and we are now able to get our individual titles. We're able to get our subdivision approval, and NHA assist you with the house lot loan amount, which I mentioned earlier, of 2.5 million. So I find this property, I'm going to subdivide it into 9. I call up 9 of my friends. My friends say, yes, we love it. Each of us have, someone to co-apply with. So for each lot, we have the 2 applicants. Remember, I tell you only 2 applicants per property, and we come together and we buy this, and the NHA assist you with all the things that you're seeing on the screen, the installation of your infrastructure and all of those things. So it's totally different from a development. Yes, you are designing your own unique community with people, that you get along with, great, but it's different. When it comes to development, that's a different aspect. It's either under joint venture, the guaranteed purchase program, and the other facilities that we have for developers in the market. And we do this because we're also about community development and having more housing available to our contributors and to the Jamaican market. So that's a little bit different.
So the other financing options, such as joint finance mortgage program, can we talk about that? I think we have a slide on some of those other financing options.
Right. So we understand that, as an individual, especially for the single applicant, 6.5 million would be probably insufficient based on, your needs and your desires. And so we have partners in the market, JMMB, First Caribbean International Bank, Jamaica National. I think they're all of the building societies in Jamaica. where you can now access the additional financing that you need to purchase your home. You are still going to be able to access your NHD benefit at
Uh-huh.
the applicable interest rate based on your income and the amount that you need from the participating institution to complete your purchase. Or you might, some people like the credit union or the commercial banks, whoever you're comfortable with, you know, you can also access what is called a purpose loan. It's the same thing, except with the joint mortgage financing, you wouldn't come to the NHT for a loan. You speak with your rep at the bank or the building society, you'll still be able to access the benefit. But with the purpose, so you have to go to the credit union or the commercial bank, do an interview there, then you come to NHA, do an interview here, still getting what you need, your 6.5 plus the additional financing that is required. We also have the microfinancing facility for persons who are earning 42,000 or less. Okay, 42,000 per week or less. We have partnered with a number of credit unions. You can go to those credit unions and access up to 1.5 million. Conditions apply to again assist you with housing related expenses. Persons in Jamaica have land passed on from grandfather to mother, and it's yours now, but there's no title. You can use it for land titling, land purchase, where you fall short on your deposit when you're buying your house, when you're doing construction or home improvement, you can access the microfinancing. There are up to 11 credit unions that we have partnered with. I have some of them listed here: Educom, First Heritage, Police Co-op, and others. All right.
Yes.
So, you just need to make contact with us and just check out if one of these credit unions are in fact our partners to be able to access this.
Okay. And you also gave some tips for early steps to home ownership. After Kamisha goes through those steps, we're going to take some of the questions that I've seen popped up. We're going to need Kamisha, look like you're going to come back again. So what are
Anytime.
those early steps to home ownership, Kamisha?
All right. So we have some tips for the persons out there who really want a house, right? Work towards owning your home by the age of 30. Now, I understand that your journey may be different. There are different circumstances that could have prevented you from doing this. But where possible, try and own your home before 30. And I tell you why. You have a longer repayment period, thereby making your monthly payment more manageable. All right, right? Try and save up to 20% of the value of the purchase price to cover your deposit, your fee, any other fees, and closing costs, right? 10% is good, but 20% is great. All right. So you need to have some savings. I encourage my contributors to do your research, know what is being offered at the NHT at your bank of choice. What are their fees? What are their interest rates? What do I need to have? And you can get pre-qualified at any of your participating banks, or you can even go on our mortgage calculator on our website to know if you can access the 6.5 million. Shop around, if possible, use a real estate agent. I say buy the Gleaner and Observer on a Sunday, go through the classifieds, ask your friend, do you know of anything? Learn who are the developers in the market. Get on their social media pages, click the notification button. Don't let anything pass you by. Once they have something on the market, you want to be the first to know. And if you are borrowing in excess of the NHE loan amount, of course, you need to visit your financial institution and be able to access the additional funding that is required to buy that dream house for yourself and your family. And you need to increase the asset base, Real estate is it's the newest what they call it, US currency now, right? You buy it now for 10 million, 10 years, it's 20 million, you can't lose. So you have to get your house hunting skills sharpened so that the opportunities in the market do not pass you by.
All right. Thank you so much, Kamisha. And of course, the questions have been coming. Kamisha, we were asked an earlier question for professionals such as surveyors. The NHT has a recommended list.
We do not have a recommended list. What you want to ensure is that they are commissioned and Once they are commissioned and certified, no problem. We'll take them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jackson, I see you. Hello. Can a university student, Nordia asked, can a university student who is self-employed living in Jamaica pay NHT contributions only without the other tax payments attached?
Unfortunately, or fortunately for us, the government, when you go to the tax admin department, you're going to be paying all the taxes. All right. You cannot just pay NHT. When you go and you're assessed, you're going to be given a document that shows the payment for all the statutory deductions under the law. So you can't just pay for NHT only, whether or not you're a university student and you're self-employed. No, you can't.
Good question, though, Northern. I'm sure other persons wanted to know. Kevin asked, can I do an addition with the home improvement loan while paying a mortgage?
Yes, you can. If you meet the 10 or 15-year requirement and that first loan is still active, still paying your mortgage, and you wish to improve on that property, yes, you can access the home improvement loan to do your renovations or enhancements. Yes.
Okay. And I know you mentioned pari passu earlier. And Randy asked, is there an advantage to pari passu?
It depends. You might be paying less upfront fees. Sometimes the credit unions have promotions. I know that one had what was called match it. So they would match the amount that NHT is lending so that you can, get enough funds to buy a house. So it really depends on different promotions, interest rate, upfront fees, which is why you need to do your research to decide which option is best for you.
Okay. And if someone is a voluntary contributor, do they need to continue paying monthly contributions once they receive the approval of a mortgage?
That's a very popular question. It's voluntary. You are not earning an income while here. We'd want you to continue paying, but we can't demand that you do because it's a voluntary contribute. What you qualify, you access your mortgage. If you don't pay, there's nothing we really can do, right? Okay. So because it's voluntary and you're not earning in Jamaica.
Yeah. What are the requirements for a developer to do a joint venture with the NHT?
Okay, I would direct that person to our construction and development unit. There is a checklist. There are a number of things that you need to have. I don't have it on hand, but I don't know if you're going to share our information. That person could make contact with me directly, and I will just help assist them in getting that information. But there is a list of things that you would need to meet, some requirements that you would need to meet based on our requirements, and then you'll discuss that with our technical person, the persons in our construction and development department.
Okay. So Kamisha, I know a lot of people have other questions and things running through their minds, and when they rewatch this episode, they're going to say, I should have asked Kamisha this. Where persons have questions to ask, they can visit the NHT website, but what other contact information can you provide?
Okay, so you can email me. I'll give my email address as well. And it is csamuels@nht.gov.jm. They can call 929-6500-9, and that's our telephone numbers. Speak with the customer care unit, and or contact me via cell phone. It's 876-829-0187. That's 876-829-0187. Can do that as well. So I put that out there. You can make contact with us. Once you call and ask for the marketing officer for St. Catherine, you'll be directed to me. But what if you're not in St. Catherine? You could ask for our customer care unit, or there's a marketing officer in every branch right across Jamaica. You can call and ask for the marketing rep for the parish, or you can speak with someone in customer care, and you, of course, will be given the information that you need.
Okay, because a couple of persons are asking if the website is up to date. So, for example, St. Anne Vlogs and Inspiration College JA ask about NHE developments in St. Anne. If you want to find out for your parish, you can actually call that 929 number to get information on developments for your parish.
Yes, you can. Okay. And we do have a number of developments. We have Catherine Estates coming up. We have Villages of Colbeck Castle. These are in St. Catherine. And there are others too that are going to be coming up in parishes. So you want to make contact with us. Just find out what's happening in your neck of the woods, and we will give you that information.
Oh, thank you very much, Kamisha. And I think we're ending with the perfect comment. Eve says a part 2 is needed, and Tassan says very good presentation, Kamisha, appreciated. So thank you for serving the people of our nation, Kamisha. We really appreciate you joining us for COVIDcast. Kamisha has shared some very useful, very easy to go through slides, which we will also post and make available to our viewers. Thank you very much, Kamisha. Walk good.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So Kamisha is handing over the baton now, because we heard about joint financing with our financial institutions. And many of us are saying, okay, so when I get the 6.5 million from NHT, how do I get the balance? How do I access the balance through my financial institution? What is required through my financial institution? What are some of the various charges involved in mortgages? And we are now going to be joined by Owen Ferguson, who is the branch manager, JMMB Knutsford Boulevard. But before we're joined by Owen, we're going to see an advertisement from our partners, JMMB.
A JMMB mortgage from JMMB Bank helps to take the hassle out of buying your home or property. In addition, a prospective homeowner who has been contributing consistently to the NHT can directly access NHT funding benefits towards achieving their home ownership goals, and JMMB will be there every step of the way. With a JMMB mortgage, you can enjoy benefits such as a streamlined, hassle-free process, flexible financing options, lower transaction fees, quicker approval, option to access a loan to cover your closing costs. Taking the next step is easier with a JMMB mortgage. Speak with a JMMB Bank representative today to find out if our mortgage solution is right for you. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at JMMB Group, or visit our website jm.jmmb.com.
So Owen Ferguson is the branch manager at JMMB's bank's Knutsford branch and provides leadership in the bank's sales and support team to leverage client partnership while driving revenue. He has been a part of the JMMB team for several years, having been a part of the then Capital and Credit Merchant Bank, which was acquired by JMMB in 2012. And he's also a fantastic person for us to have on, because he's also an attorney at law, so we can get some free advice.
You're setting me up, Rochelle.
Thank you very, very much for joining us, Owen. And
pleasure to be on.
Some great information to provide to our viewers. You have some slides that you want to talk us through, because this is a very visual program tonight.
Sure. We do have some slides. I suspect they are before you. If not, I can share from my end over here.
Yes.
And I'm not sure if I'm doing that or you are, whichever it is. But you will hear a fair bit of overlap between my presentation and Kamisha's. And we've been on events like this before, Kamisha and myself. So it's nice to know that we're peeking on each other's scripts, you know.
Yeah, I noted, and in fact, so we are sharing to make it easier for you.
Sure.
That we can
love that.
And we did notice when we saw the slides that there was a bit of peeking, so it's a nice handing over of the baton. So over to you, Owen, tell us a little bit now, mortgages, what factors do we need to consider?
Quite a few. So we tend to we want to begin with our clients being deliberate about acquiring their first home. And we know this is perhaps going to be the largest financial decision that you'll make in your lifetime. And whether it's your first home, extra exciting, or it's a second home or investment property, we want persons to approach it with some deliberateness. We want you to plan. And as Kamisha said, and I'm endorsing, we want you to prepare by saving, getting your investment plan in place, which we can help you with, of course. But you want to target at about 20% of the likely purchase price, anywhere between 10 and 20% of the likely purchase price as your savings or investment goal. That will set you up nicely to deal with some of those costs that are surplus to the purchase price themselves. And Kamisha mentioned a couple of those. We can repeat those if persons need to hear. Also, sometimes we get some surprises when persons are told of what's there on their credit reports. By now, say we are now at about year 7 in the introduction of credit bureaus in Jamaica, but there are still a few persons who are not quite aware of what's there on the record for you. So we do recommend to persons that as you prepare for this major decision, that you request your credit report. You're entitled to one. Each Jamaican citizen is entitled to one free report per year. So you just reach out to anyone at the credit bureau and have that report and just review it. Just see what's there, see which of your loans appears. You may have had something in your past that you thought disappeared or that you had liquidated, and it comes back to haunt you. You really don't want that. So go ahead and pull your report. And if necessary, do a credit repair. Go ahead and reach out to some of those institutions that you may have had in the past and see whether you can get those facilities resolved. It may involve a refinance. There are some institutions that will also offer you a compromise payment where, for a lower balance, you'll be able to liquidate the loan. They'll be able to write that off for you. And all of this is setting up nicely now coming into the whole business of applying for your mortgage. Of course, you're going to modify your spending behavior and just ensure that you are doing enough in respect of controlling your spending so that you have the maximum available to make that big purchase.
Okay. Can we see the next slide? Can our producers, because I know we have some great information, that those steps towards getting your mortgage. I know a lot.
You see her climbing the steps.
Yes.
Right. So you would have by now have identified a property, or if not, as Kamisha said, as we spoke about earlier, you might need a real estate agent to assist you to find one. Either way, by the time you have identified that property, we suggest that you get a pre-approval. Come in to us or your other your favorite institution and get a pre-approval. That will say to you exactly how much you could qualify for, and you'll know exactly what your budget is in respect of once you wish to now go out and actively start shopping. All right, so then you're going to start your application, and that application will involve some supporting documents, and we'll tell you what those are in a little bit. And once you put that together properly and all is well, all the ducks in a row, you cleared up your past credit history, then we hope and we'll assist you, and one day you'll get the beautiful news: your mortgage is approved. It's a thrilling experience to have. And we share that with our clients every day. It's a milestone, so we celebrate that. Shortly after that, we'll have you come in and sign, and there are some fees and so on to pay, and you're on your way. You're 2 steps closer to getting the keys in hand.
Yeah. So talk to us, because we see some there are various documents and fees. So yes. I know persons get a little nervous now when they hear about the fees and they want to understand what kind of fees are payable.
Right, so we do have some material on that.
Let's move to the next slide.
Okay, so we can talk about the documents.
Yeah.
All right, so we brought that out for employed persons. So, last 3 months pay slips, job letter, bank statement of your salary account. And of course, we also want to see the statements on the existing loans, because of course we want to see how you have been performing with those loans.
Okay.
Right? So that's typical of somebody who is employed on a fixed salary. Of course, if your salary is variable, maybe there's some commission in there or there's some other allowances that you get periodically. We might want to see more than those 3 months just to ensure that we get a proper average of your earning and you're able to make proper assessments of what it is that's due to you. So that's our salaried persons. If you are self-employed, we probably have a few SME operators in our audience tonight, and your requirements are slightly different. So we're going to ask you for your financial statements. Of course, we want to see how your business has been performing, cash flow projections for the forthcoming 12 months bank statements on your operating account, and of course, audited financial statements. Now, you might think that this is a bit much, but guess what? We're here for you. We can help you with that. At JMMB Group or SME Resource Center can provide assistance to help you to put together some of those documents. We'll put you in touch with the professionals, the accountants, and these folk who can put these budgets and cash flow projections together for you.
Okay.
So have no fear, we've got you.
All right. So some of the property documents.
These now are the documents we're asking you to supply in respect of the property itself. So you found a house, and more than likely the agent is going to be able to assist you with some of these things. Between the agent and your attorney, you'll get an agreement for sale. So we need to see a signed agreement for sale. We'll also get a copy of the title, a recent valuation report, a recent surveyor's ID report. And by recent, we mean within the last 12 months. We'd exercise some discretion around that, but for the most part, within the last 12 months. We would, of course, need to see how much is outstanding. So the vendor's attorney will give you a final statement to close. And you would ensure that the property taxes and the water commission in relation to the property that you're buying is up to date.
Okay. So when we say all of these things, when it's our first time, we kind of get a little...
It can be overwhelming, which is why we're big on client education. At JMMB, we're very big on holding your hand through the process. We have a full consultation at the outset and take you through the steps, very much as we're doing here. Just take you step by step, setting the expectations around how the process will unfold and foreshadowing the various steps as they occur.
Okay, and right here now you have the related costs and fees. So Bevelyn had asked the examples of the fees. So Bevelyn, right now Owen is going to hold our hands through the fees and when various things are payable and to whom.
Yes, so these are typical sort of costs that you're likely to see with a real estate acquisition. Your attorney is going to tell you, of course, what his or her professional fees are, which you'll pay to them, of course. Closing costs, everything not related to the purchase price itself, everything else is part of that umbrella phrase, closing costs. So, your attorney will advise you of that. Mm-hmm. As indicated, we do require a valuation report, so you're going to have to pay the evaluator, you're going to have to pay a surveyor. We did a quick survey of the market, and typically you will find those costs somewhere about 0.2 to 0.3% of the value of the property. So, of course...
And you have recommended valuators and surveyors?
We actually don't, and it's, we encourage a free market scenario. So once persons are properly licensed, mm-hmm. we're happy to receive those valuations and those surveyors reports.
Okay.
Sure. And then once your application is coming through JMMB Bank, we are going to charge you, of course, a processing fee, which is in the range of 1 to 2.5%, comparable to others and perhaps lower than many. There's also charges in respect of registering the mortgage. I should point out as well that we do that in-house, meaning we use resources in-house. There are other institutions that will outsource that. So you want to just confirm with your institution whether they are going to have external counsel do that, in which case there may be an additional cost.
Okay. Colette asks, can all of these fees be included in the loan?
Right. Excellent question. So we'll see in a minute the maximum that we'll finance. And short answer is no, it wouldn't be included in the mortgage, but providing you qualify, we could provide you a separate vehicle to get the additional funds that you require. So if it is that we're going to provide you with a personal loan to assist you to cover these fees, and you qualify for both that personal loan and the mortgage, absolutely. We're happy to do that, and we do that quite frequently.
Okay, so you could get the financing for your mortgage, and because you see, when you said vehicle a while ago, I never want about it.
Yes. Sorry.
Oh, it's a separate personal loan.
A separate loan, yes. A separate loan could be available to you, and that could take care of these costs.
All right.
Sure. We're solution oriented. We're going to look for a way to get it done for you so that you can get into your new home.
All right. So some of the home ownership made easy. Can you tell us about that?
Right. So we're all about making the process easy for you. As you said, it can be intimidating. Sometimes it is overwhelming, and we want to walk you through it. This is what we do every day. Our specialists do this every day, and we know this thing back and forth. But you don't. That's not your specialty. And we want to make sure that it is easy and understandable for you. So client education is important. Just as we just did, we're going to take you through the steps in the process. We'll help you to understand what is to come next and set expectations. As I said, we'll simplify the mortgage registration process. That will include some savings for you, especially compared to those that outsource that process for you. Then there are also there's some flexibility around the methods of payment that are available. Okay. So, if you're employed, we will probably reach out for a salary deduction. But if you're self-employed, then it will be by other means. You'll pay over the counter or by standing order. We have clients overseas, and they wire their payments in monthly, and that's fine. So there's a significant degree of flexibility around how the loans are adjudicated, how they're approved, and also how they're serviced. We do want to meet you at your point of comfort to ensure that you get into your home as quickly as you can.
Okay. And Norda, I'm going to ask you a question right now, just to segue for a moment, because we're helping our customers here. Right. Do you have any specialized packages for young homeowners, like, persons in the 20s bracket with a bit over the minimum wage salary?
Right. Oh, yes, sure. I mean, what we want to do is we're very big on customizing the solutions. So again, I mentioned that we do have that initial consultation with you, and we would have in that conversation gotten a good handle as to where you are in the life cycle. And because of the nature of the entity that I am part of, JMMB, very, very flexible, very, very open to the needs of our clients. We will listen and hear and design what is required to give you that solution that you need. Okay. For sure, absolutely.
And as a if you're an existing JMMB customer, do you get any preferred interest rate?
You do get a reduction on the fees, and you do get preferential consideration for interest rates as well. So absolutely. Okay. If you haven't yet opened your JMMB account, tomorrow morning would be a good time.
And then Nakash says, do you give US dollar loans to purchase overseas?
Okay, so let me break that into two. We do give US dollar loans to US dollar earners. So if you're employed and earning US dollars, then we do give US dollar loans. The no part of the answer is that we don't lend for properties outside of Jamaica. So if your purchase is outside of Jamaica, we're not currently in that business. Unless, of course, you happen to be in Trinidad and Tobago or DOMREP, where we do have subsidiaries that operate there as well.
Okay. And then the partnership works with things like good credit history, I'm seeing here.
Yeah, we want to make sure that if you come to us with these attributes, we're going to support you to get into your objectives. So we want someone who has been deliberate about maintaining good credit. And if you haven't, we will assist you with credit repair. We'll assist you with refinance. We'll assist you with debt consolidation. But in whatever your current circumstance is, we're going to be partnering with you as we seek that solution together.
Okay, so as we move to the next slide, Owen, suppose, because as our viewers are listening and they say, I hear what Owen is saying, but there was like a point in my life where things did kind of roughish.
Never go so straight.
Things never go so straight. Persons are always also coming out of the COVID pandemic,
Yes.
and may have had to access credit facilities, may have, so their credit may be they may be a little concerned about how their credit is looking. There are
Right.
some people who fix up themselves now, but when you go back in at them, you never used to pay their light bill, never used to pay their mortgage that time there. Should
We
they?
see this every day, Rochelle.
Yeah.
And it's completely understandable. This is real life, and we are real people. We understand that persons may not have had the best of times in times gone by, and which is why we have to leverage that flexibility. We have to make sure that we're open, we listen, we understand people's circumstances. The most important thing for us when we assess credit is not just the ability to pay today, but we're also looking at your character. Who are you? Are you really committed to making payments? And the only issue that you faced back then in 20, whenever, was that you simply didn't have the income. And if that's the case, and we're satisfied that you are otherwise committed to your loan obligations, we'll absolutely facilitate you. So we have participated in debt forgiveness, in moratoriums, and where persons have had those scenarios offered to them in other institutions, we're happy to take them as well. Each scenario, let me tell you, your loan officer at JMB is going to be your advocate. He or she is going to present your application and argue for you. So, we ask that persons disclose, but feel comfortable sharing your history, and we will advocate for you and present your proposal in a way that allows it to be approved.
And you could get up to 95% financing on residential property.
Yes, so houses, apartments, townhouses, up to 95%. You would only need to come up with 5%.
Okay. And Tassan asked, does JMMB, hi Tassan, offer partnerships with developers? If so, what are the basic requirements?
Again, I'm going to break this into two. So yes, we absolutely do offer partnerships with developers. Tassan, if you happen to drive around corporate area Kingston or Montego Bay or some other parts of the island, you'll notice that we're very heavily involved in a number of the major developments that are going on. So absolutely, yes, we do provide development financing, and sorry, on a very grand scale as well, I must humbly state. So the second part of the answer, though, I'm going to defer that to our corporate banking unit. I suspect, given how complex that process is and what is involved, we may not have the time for that in a presentation like this. But once you reach out to us, we'll be able to put you in contact with our corporate banking team, and they'll be able to put you on to what is required to do that. But the evidence is clear that we are very, very active in that aspect of the market. We have an appetite for that type of loan. So we're doing the mortgages and we're doing the development financing as well. Absolutely.
Okay. Well, you have up to 35 years to repay your mortgage?
Yes, once you qualify at a young enough age, let's say 30, you can repay up to 35 years. In fact, it's up to your normal retirement, whatever your normal retirement is. And in cases where you are self-employed and can continue beyond normal retirement years, we'll take that into consideration as well.
Okay, so that means that if you say are a TOOPS over 30 and another TOOPS over 40,
right?
If you're another TOOPS over 40, do you get the 35 years, or are you going to look at the retirement age and a possible extension? Is it just up to the retirement age?
We look at all the circumstances. If you are employed in a field that allows you to continue beyond, let's say, 60 or 65, then absolutely we'll give it a maximum repayment tenor. And I should also add that we go to 35 on our portion of the loan, but if it's a joint finance with the NHT, And NHT portion goes as long as 40 years, and we'll carry it for that 40 years as well, for sure.
All right. What else are you going to tell us? Randy asked, is the Facebook stream down? Can our producers check if the Facebook stream is down?
Okay.
Okay, interest
All right.
rate.
Big question of the night. We did our survey very recently, and this is what we came up with. Of course, we're not putting any names on the screen, but you probably recognize the color schemes. And that's what we found in the marketplace currently. And we thought that, we could do a little more for our clients. So currently, and for the rest of the summer, this is our rate for mortgages. And this is for first home, second home, investment home. We're able to do this rate between now and the end of summer. And when we revert to our regular rate, it is still at or below what our competitors are offering. So a very compelling set of terms we think we're offering at this point, because we really are interested in having our clients benefit and having you pick up your keys to your brand new home.
Okay. So what I don't understand, Owen, suppose you take the loan from your financial institution.
Right.
And you also access your NHT.
Right.
The NHT portion has an interest rate associated with it. Your
Correct.
financial institution part has an interest rate associated with it.
Correct.
How do the two interest rates play with each other? Are they combined? How do they work?
So we're peeking behind the curtain now, Rochelle. What happens is we book two loans. That's the magic behind it. There are two loans that on our books. One is the NHT portion, the other is the JMMB portion. Our clients will never see that distinction because you're making one payment. And that one payment is principal and interest for both loans. So it's just the accounting in the background that is split into two. But
All right.
it's for all intents and purposes, you're making one payment every month to JMMB. JMMB then makes the appropriate accounting arrangements with NHT for their portion of the loan.
Okay. And I see Leisha asks a two-part question. Is this 6.65% for the entire mortgage? And does it also work for a second mortgage, or is it just for first-time home buyers?
It is for the entire. So let me be very clear about answering that. At this point, we're offering variable rate mortgages. So this is the rate currently, and that will be the rate until, generally speaking, interest rates change in the marketplace, which we don't anticipate it to change adversely. If anything, we're more likely to see interest rates fall even more. Mm-hmm. So we are offering this rate, and this is the rate that you'll pay for the foreseeable future. And this is the rate for your first purchase, a second mortgage. If it is a home equity situation, though you already own the property, then another set of terms will apply. But if we're talking about acquiring property, this is the rate you'll pay for this period. We are going to be rolling this rate out. It's currently available and will continue to be available for the rest of the months of June, July, and August. And then we reevaluate at that time.
Okay, and as we are wrapping up with Owen, I was wondering when we're going to get to see this question. Claudia says, can I expect my existing mortgage interest rate to reduce if the interest rate in the market is reduced during the duration of the loan? Thank you for that question, Claudia.
A resounding yes, Claudia. In fact, that is why we choose to offer variable rate mortgages. There are some entities that want to offer you a fixed rate mortgage, which will lock you in for 30 years at whatever that rate is. With a variable rate mortgage, you get the benefit when interest rates generally in the marketplace fall. So JMMB offers variable rate mortgages. Remember, mortgages are long-term instruments, and we wouldn't want to lock you in from now till whenever at a particular rate, where you would not be able to benefit from any reductions in the marketplace when those occur.
Okay.
So,
and we had heard earlier about home improvement loans through NHT. Are you able to get a home improvement loan through the bank?
Yes, correct. We can take that application as well, and we will process it in exactly the way that we do the other NHT joint finance mortgage applications. So
Okay.
yes.
So, Owen, as we are wrapping up with our viewers, you have indicated that the purchase of your home is probably the single most
It is.
the biggest
It
investment
is, yeah.
of us. What key tips would you leave with our viewers as they're trying to work through their heads now? What are my next steps with a mortgage? Should I even be looking in this direction? Because some people say to themselves, me now go get no house.
Oh boy, no.
What key tips would you leave?
Well, we are possibility thinkers at GMMB. Everything is possible, and we will support you to that objective. So, yeah, absolutely. The real estate professionals will tell you now is the time to buy real estate. As we know, this is one of the assets that appreciates over time, and you're almost never going to lose once you acquire property. There's going to be appreciation, the values are going to improve, and you're going to find that your mortgage payment over time will become manageable. Even if it is a bit challenging at the start, over time, as you progress in your profession and the income starts to improve, so absolutely now is the time to buy. And I'd say, call the auntie and the grandma and everybody and get everybody to pool and assist you to get in, because now is the time to start. And the earlier you do this, is the better for you. Interest rates are low and will potentially remain low for a while. So now is the time to take advantage of that. The other thing I would say is as we started out talking about, just preparing properly, ensuring that you're managing your finances, that you're saving towards these objectives, and that you're managing your credit. It's so very important that you manage your credit, ensure that you're not abusing the credit card and all that sort of thing, and just making sure that you're being very disciplined around things of that nature, so that you can be ready when the time comes.
Okay, thank you very, very much for those tips, Owen. And Owen, if you can just remind us, because I know questions are rolling in,
Right.
where can our viewers find you?
Right. Okay, so you can find me. I'm at the Knutsford Boulevard location, of course. My email address is my name, so it's Owen_Ferguson@jmb.com. That's the naming convention for JMB emails. First name _ last name. So Owen_Ferguson@jmb.com. The generic email for our contact center is info@jmb.com. And our website, jm.jmmb.com. Hope I haven't gone too fast, but through any of those channels. And of course, if you want to go into a physical location, we have a number around the island. 2 in Montego Bay, Ocho Rios, Mandeville, Maypen, Santa Cruz, and of course, Portmore and locations here in the corporate area. So multiple ways to reach out to us, and we're looking forward to getting those contacts and assisting you to owning your first home.
Thank you very much, Owen. And I see Colette J.A. says, lovely interview, Owen. You represented JMMB as a very good ambassador. So thank you. As an ambassador tonight, we thank you for the information you have provided and the information that that Owen has provided to us, that looks at things like fees, that we're wondering about the fees, how you prepare yourself for mortgages. Very useful information for us to have in hand. And we'll make all of that available on smallbusinessportal.com. So make sure you visit smallbusinessportal.com. Owen, what good. Thank you very much.
Good to see you, Rochelle. Thanks for having us on.
Yes. Well, viewers, we just had part 2 of real estate investments and opportunities. We heard from Kamisha Samuel Smith, who is the Marketing and Sales Officer for St. Catherine for the National Housing Trust, and she provided us with a wealth of information. We will make all the slides that she presented available on smallbusinessportal.com. So visit smallbusinessportal.com. Additionally, we heard from Owen Ferguson from our partners JMMB. He is the branch manager of the Knutsford Boulevard branch. And we encourage you, visit smallbusinessportal.com, register for all our weekly memos, all of this type of information that's available so that you can also get your alerts of the episodes that are coming. Please visit us at sme@psoj.org. If you are not already subscribed, make sure you go subscribe to our YouTube page right here now. Also, follow us on Instagram. Keep abreast of what's going on. And our multi-part episode will wrap up next week, Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Part 3, construction. We're looking at construction and availability. And I saw Tassan was asking about developments. So please, you cannot miss that episode. So we look forward to seeing you next week, Thursday, for another episode of COVIDcast JA. And please, enough people need to be on, so you need to ensure that you're telling your family. Keep it a secret. Make sure you're telling your family. Share the episodes with your friends. Visit smallbusinessportal.com. Go on our Facebook page. Go on our YouTube page. Watch our previous episodes. Next week is episode 60. It need crowd. Make sure that you are on for, as we continue, real estate investment and opportunities. The COVIDcast JA is brought to you by the Private Sector Organization of Jamaica. The private sector organization committed to our micro, small, and medium enterprises. We shall emerge from this COVID much stronger. We have provided information for weeks now. All of this is available for you. Of course, COVIDcast we would not be able to do all of this without the sponsorship of the National Commercial Bank, the NCB Group, the JMMB Group. Tonight we heard from JMMB Bank. So without our sponsors, so we wish to thank our sponsors, NCB Group and the JMMB Group. And we say the PSOJ is committed to you, or micro, small, and medium enterprises. So next week, see you again right here, 7:30. Walk good, wear your mask, sanitize. Even though the country are open up, COVID still a keep. Take care of yourself. So you have a great idea to start a business, but you don't know where to start. We completely understand. You have a lot of questions and almost no answers. Smallbusinessportal.com is here to help. At smallbusinessportal.com, you gain access to information on loans, grants, and investment opportunities from verified financial institutions. Guess what you also get? Useful business tips, access to training. All these services combine to make your business idea into a reality. Start your journey today at smallbusinessportal.com.